brief as I can. I need to get down to the hospital. Brian got hurt out at the football field, son. He's down at St. Mary's. The first paper I gave you, I think there's 6 sheets altogether. And this shows the progression of our energy program over the past 5 years. We've got 5 full years of data at this point. I'm well pleased with the direction we're going. We continue to save money despite some things that we've done that should have caused us to slow down, and I'll explain that further here in a minute. The very first year of our program was the 2008-2009 school year, beginning in May. I was hired in April of 2008 in the middle of the month, and I had about 2 weeks to get started, and then we started our reporting of results in May. You can see the first year we saved and avoided costs of $229,000. That's in the bottom right corner. The following year it was $252,000. In the 2010-2011 school year it was $257,000. In 2011-2012 year it was $271,000. And then in this past school year, the past year that just completed in April, it was $290. But now, I'm not going to take credit for all the $290 savings because there's some misnomers there. While Harts Primary, once we closed it down, we was able to close out all of the utilities, and I took them off of our accounting. Harts Intermediate, because we still had utilities there, I had to keep them on. But their numbers reflect a much less usage than what they were when they were open. So they went from January of 2012 up till present time. Although we're still paying utilities there, they're at a much reduced rate, and that causes this number 290 to go up. So that's why it's so much higher than the other ones. And
which school are we speaking of there?
Harts Middle School, the old Harts Middle School.
Okay.
We still are paying at that location until the county commission takes full funding or full possession of that. We're still paying a gas bill, an electric bill, and a water bill there every month. So as soon as deed's done and it's their building, then I'll start working with somebody from the county commission liaison and get those utilities put over into their name, and then we'll have that building completely closed out. The other reason I'm happy that our numbers are still going up, we have added in the past 2 years, we have added air conditioning to, I believe they're 10 to 15 ton air conditioning units at Guyan Valley Middle School in the gymnasium, also at Duval Middle School in the gymnasium. I think that was probably 2 years ago. And in addition to that, and now I'm going to refer to this page, we opened the new Harts Pre-K-8 school. And like I said, we closed down Harts Primary completely and Harts Middle to some extent. But if you'll look, the kilowatt hours that we consume at the new Harts Pre-K-8 school for the first full year, we occupied it in January of 2012, is that right? And I ran through December of that year. We used 959,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. And I'm just concerned with electricity here at this time to give you an example. And that was at a cost of $82,011 for the full year electricity cost. Now, Harts Middle School, the last year it was in full operation, which was 2011, from January 2011 through the end of December, you could see their electrical use on the main meter up there was 328,880. Now, once again, there are other meters at Harts Middle School up there. We have 5 electric meters at Harts Middle. We've got one for the field lights, one for the concession stand, one for the old shop, and There's another one up there, I believe, for the gas pump. But they're minimal, and they don't consume a lot. At Harts Pre-K-8, everything, outside lights, you know, the walk lights and everything is metered on the main building, so they got 1 meter there. But the cost up there was roughly $27,000 for the year at Harts Middle. At Harts Primary, their last year of operation, they used 168,960 kilowatt hours at a cost of a little over, almost $15,000. Once again, at Harts Primary, we had 3 modular buildings. 2 of those modular buildings were metered separately, and there was some outside light meters, which they don't really give us a kilowatt hour reading on those. We pay a set rate like we do here at the central office for your parking lot lights. But if you look down through there, the last year of operation of the 2 schools combined, we've nearly doubled the kilowatt hours that we use with the new school as opposed to the old. That combined with the additional air conditioning we added at these 2 other schools, you know, we should have seen, my expectation would have been that we would see a drop in the money we're saving because we're using more. That has not been the case. I mean, we're staying steady. I attribute that to Ms. Lucas and Jeff and the support I get from them and also from the staff out in the schools. They do a tremendous job, you know, trying to follow instructions and shutting down the schools and everything. The last page I gave you essentially is a 1-page summary of the 6-page together. I blacked out the very bottom because they totaled it by column. And as I said, the first year of savings we had was from May to April, and I've shaded that area. So if you want to see the reduction by year of how much electric we reduced, the 2007-2008 is the last year before you hired me and did the energy program. And then starting 2008-2009, you can just run across the column and you can see the reduction. Now, if you compare year to year, like if you compare 2011 to 2012, you'll see that our usage went up some. But they always compare back to the last year. They compare back to what were you doing prior to the energy program. So the comparisons are always going to be to the 2007-2008 school year. If that's makes any sense. I want to brag a little bit about your principals. As you all well know, I have applied for the Energy Star building rating from the EPA each year. For the last 3 years, we've had at least 6 buildings receive the Energy Star. Last year we had 5, and there was a snafu with Duval. Somehow the new air conditioning in the gym got included with the meters that were submitted. And before Energy Star can rate you, they have to have 1 year of baseline information. So they have to have a full school year of baseline, and then they have to have a full year of operation to compare that to. Those air conditioners went online for time reference. They went online when Blaine Wilkerson's wake was held at the gym. That was the first time they were used. So I don't know how far back that goes, about 2 years, I think. But anyway, because they couldn't rate those, they threw the whole thing out. And I've reapplied, and I've been trying to get them to look at it without that. I finally got an Energy Star rating and an award for Duval, but it's a 2013 award. So it's going to appear that Duval has a gap, you know, and they didn't get one in 2012. But the information that they received their 2013 award for was for the 2012 data. So, and Kim and her staff up there do a great job also of trying to comply with this. We have 8 educational buildings in this system, and 6 of our 8 buildings win the Energy Star award, and that's fairly rare. You can go online at the EPA and look. I think in the state of West Virginia there may be 27 schools that have received the Energy Star Award, 6 of them here in Lincoln County. So we're doing a good job, and you can tell the public that we're doing a good job of stewardship on the money that they give us. And we don't have a lot, but what we do have, we're spending it wisely. The last thing I'll say, we also are involved in the company that runs the Eastern Seaboard Electrical Grid is called PJM, and they have a demand reduction program where each year we pledge that if there is a crisis on the Eastern Seaboard on the electrical grid, that we can shut things down, in peak time and divert that electricity to where it's needed. For that, they pay us money each year to be on standby. And up until last year, they had never called an alert, and all we had to do was do a test in August prior to when school opened up. So it didn't hurt us. I mean, I could shut air conditioning down, and now that we were mostly automated, I could do it from right over here in the office, shut everything down. But this past year, they actually had an emergency in July, and we had to shut down. The money that we received from that, I have used in the past. Ms. Lucas allows me to keep that money as a small budget. I don't have any budget with the energy program other than that. And I have used it to buy LED high bay lights for our gymnasiums. I think maybe some of you have been in the gyms have noticed them. They're different than the rest of them. They don't put out much heat. They got a longer life. It's better light quality. I'm trying to put those in all of the small gymnasiums, multi-purpose rooms, and eventually the main gyms, and I'd like to put them over here in the bus garage. They're more energy efficient lighting, and as all of you probably well know, those 250 and 400 watt bulbs that we have in the gymnasiums are the most costly lights we have to operate. That's why I go so crazy when I go in the building at night and they're on. But we've used money for that. We've also used money for programmable thermostats. I know when we first started the energy program, some of you's been on the board for a while, you heard complaints from the teachers, the rooms were cold when they came in the morning. We put in programmable thermostats that we bought with that money so that we can automatically bring the heat on an hour before the teachers and the kids get there. The room's warm or cool. We can use it for air conditioning also. When the kids first walk in there and the teachers walk in there. And it cuts off automatically in the evening time, so we don't have to worry about somebody going around and getting it. And the major thing that we're doing right now, there's some issues at West Hamlin Elementary, and have been ever since I started here, and probably years back, where the original controls, Fred, you're probably familiar with this stuff, Johnson controls were originally put on the building. At some point, they switched to Andover controls, but instead of taking the Johnson stuff off, they overlaid Andover. That manipulates the Johnson controls, then it manipulates the equipment. It's very inefficient. We've had some problems with it. I've already used some of that money to buy the software and the hardware that's needed to convert West Hamlin over on a room-by-room basis. It's fairly expensive. And starting, I think they're going to start on it tomorrow. We have at the cost of $1,800 a classroom. We're going to convert classrooms over and get all of that stuff off and put the Andover controls directly onto the equipment for better quality. We've got 4 rooms over there that's on the end towards the sewer plant and tennis courts that we continuously have problems. And we just can't get them comfortable. It's a bad teaching environment. So we're going to try to do that, and we're going to try, rather than take money out of Dana's maintenance budget, we're going to try to do that with this money as the rooms fail. And it's costly. I mean, the software and everything ran somewhere, Debbie, you did the invoices, what, $7,200 for the software, and there was $3,400 for the hardware. So roughly $10,000, $11,000 for that part of it, and then I had enough money left to do the 4 classrooms at, like I said, a cost of $1,800 a piece, and then I'll have enough money left over to do 1 more classroom. But also at that building, there are 5 rooftop rooms that service the library, the cafeteria, the gym, To do those, because they're a different type system, I'll have to come up with $3,200 a piece to do those. And when we get back to getting $25,000, $27,000 a year from these folks at PJM, we'll work on that. Some of the rooms are doing good, and we're just going to do it on an as-fail basis. But we are striving to make the system as efficient as possible, to save as much money as possible, and to make, most importantly, to make the rooms as comfortable as possible for a good teaching environment for the students and the kids. That's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Public Arts, you said we had 5 meters.
Yes.
One of them gas pumps.
Yes, one of them,
That-
and it will go away as soon as they get, I understand that the software or the hardware people, something to do with the new gas pump that they put at the brand new school is not working yet, so we have to keep that one open to gas buses. As soon as the new pump is on and Rod tells me that it's done, I'll call and cancel that meter also. The main meter for the building will hopefully revert over to the county commission at some point, and that'll leave us the 3 meters that are on the side that we're going to keep. And I talked to some of you before the meeting. I don't think Gary was here. There's no need for gas in any of the buildings that we're going to keep. They're all electric. The hot water tank is electric. The only thing we'll need to do after we switch that 1 meter over is we need to get our own water tap, and Debbie was telling me that we've got that on the list of things to do. There's a call for a water tap.
But you said there was a wood shop there too.
Well,
What's it used,
I
what's it gonna
called,
be used for?
I called a wood shop. My understanding was originally that's what what it is. It's the 2-story building.
Okay.
As you go in, I think we actually, or maybe the county commission actually put a roof on it at one time. They were going to move some county offices up there, but there's 2 rooms on the bottom floor, and then you go up the stairs, and there's 2 rooms upstairs. And my understanding was at one point it was a wood shop, so
I think that's the area we were talking about having our locker room.
Right, I think so, yeah.
I believe so.
Joe, I'd like for you to address the 2 schools that did not get the Energy Star.
Yes.
And give a reason why that.
Okay, the first one is the New Hart School, and it doesn't qualify for the very same reason that Duval doesn't. You have to have a full year of baseline data and then a full year of comparison data, and I wasn't able to apply for them then. The other school is Lincoln County High School, and I would like somebody to tell me why we can't get anything there. The only thing I've been able to find out from the energy education people is that we have issues with schools that are built as a green school to start with. They're built energy efficient. There's not a lot of places to cut. We've got it, I work closely with Greg Gosney over there. We've got it set up so that, he schedules, but as you all well know, there's something going on in that building all the time, even through the summer. We can't shut that building down like we do the other ones. I mean, you go up to Midway now or Ranger, you're not going to find anything on in that building. I've got everything unplugged from the walls, the computers, the pencil sharpeners. All the blinds are pulled, the window air conditioning is turned off. There's nothing on in that building. But we can't do that at the high school because you have summer school, you have credit recovery, you have ongoing training. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on over there that we just can't shut down. So where we have to have a 75 rating to get the Energy Star, our numbers at the high school's been running 38 and 40. And it's going to be a task. Do I think we could do some stuff to get there? Yeah, I do. It's going to involve work with Danny Daly and the IT people. I think we could save a lot of money by putting some programs on the server that will allow us to turn off every computer in the building except the servers at, say, 6 o'clock in the evening, leave them off, and then have them come back on at 5 o'clock in the morning. And get their updates and their downloads and stay on and be up and ready to go at 7 when the students get there. You're looking at about a 12-hour shutdown on probably 900 computers. There's a lot of money to be saved there. There's other things that we could do. I need to work with the principal over there. And I have talked to you and Jeff both about this. And you probably see it when you do your walkthroughs if they don't know you're coming. A lot of the teachers are blocking their classroom doors open in the hallway. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but I mean, if we're trying to cool that room to 72 degrees and it's full of kids and they got the door open, that cool air's going out in the hall. As soon as somebody opens up the outside door, it channels down like a chimney. You could go over sometimes and stand 10, 12 feet outside of the room and just feel the cold air. And I know nobody does that at home. You know, you don't turn your air conditioning on at home and then go open your door to your garage and leave it open the rest of the night. Nobody does that. But the teachers want to do it. And it's been a struggle ever since, even though it's a fire marshal issue to block those doors open when the rooms are occupied. So that's an issue that I need to work with the principals on a little bit more. Just small things like that, getting them to keep the doors shut in the gymnasium during the day. All those things can help.
Probably a security issue too.
It's a huge security issue. And we've talked about that before. But just being able to control little things like that will make the chillers not run as much. We did finally get the programming done. A few years back, we had an issue over there. The way that heat's set up, a lot of times the boilers run, it's 4-pipe system. You understand those. The boilers run at the same time the chillers run. And we have a program put on now, there's heat recovery units on those chillers. And they will gather that heat and put it back into the system to control humidity and prevent us from having to run the boilers. We've actually got the boilers turned off at the high school now, as in most of the schools. Dana's went around and shut them down. We've got a lot of coolers and freezers that are running full blast right now with not a thing in them. And I need to get with Angie in food service and see what we can do about shutting those down also. Harts is a new school and it's a green school, so we may have the same issue at Harts as we do at the high school in getting it qualified. But something like that, you know, the walk-in cooler up there is completely empty and it's running. So that's something we can address.
Anybody have any